Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac. I'm bewildered by this first story. Hi, I'm John with 5 Good News Stories. In Germany, a concert has been going on for 25 years already, and they're just getting started. This is happening in a medieval church in Halberstadt. An organ is performing a composition by American composer John Cage. The performance started in 2001. It is scheduled to end in, I'm not misspeaking here, write this down, 2640. Yes, the year 2640. The entire performance will take 639 years. The composition is called Organ 2/ASLSP, where ASLSP stands for As Slow as Possible. Cage originally wrote the piece for piano in 1985 and adapted it for organ 2 years later. His basic instruction was simple: play it as slowly and softly as possible. Cage passed away in 92. Some musicians and scholars decided to take that instruction very, very seriously. They created the John Cage Organ Project and stretched the composition around 639 years. Why that number? Well, you see, Halberstadt was home to an important organ dating to 1361, and between 1361 and the Cage Project in 2000, exactly 639 years had passed, so organizers decided their performance should also be 639 years. The concert began on September 5th, 2001, which would have been Cage's 89th birthday, and it began with silence, a lot of silence. Nothing could actually be heard until February of 2003, when the first organ chords finally sounded. How does this work? An electric blower continuously pushes air through the organ pipes, allowing individual notes to continue for months or even years. Every once in a while, somebody actually changes the chord, and that's a major event. More than 150 people packed into the church recently to witness the 17th chord change in nearly 25 years. The existing chord contained 7 notes. For 3 minutes, everyone listened to it. Then an 8th organ pipe was added, and suddenly there was a new chord. The project even helped save the building where it's being performed. The church had largely been in ruins. Money raised for the Cage Project helped pay for a new roof and other repairs. And because the organ produces a continuous sound, simply walking around the church changes what you hear. And if you're planning on being around on September 4th, 2640, they are selling tickets. They cost 2,640 euros, which sounds like a lot of money, but I bet 600 years from now, that's a bargain. And good news, the tickets are inheritable if you want to put them in the family trust or something. I kind of want to do it. Congratulations to Mohammed, a Paralympic medalist who has swam around Manhattan, cycled 3,000 miles across the country, and then ran 300 miles on a prosthetic leg. It is the Triathlon Across America. Mohammed finished on July 29th, 47 days after setting out from New York City. By the time he had reached Las Vegas, he had already completed a 28.5-mile swim around Manhattan, cycled across 16 states, climbed more than 100,000 feet along the way. Then he had to run from Las Vegas to L.A. He told Runner's World that running on a prosthesis comes with challenges you don't even consider. Blisters can stop the journey, and if you get an infection, it's over. He and a support crew had a routine. After every 2 miles they stopped, he would clean the prosthesis, inspect his skin, hydrate, and apply creams to reduce friction. He said, I battled boils and constant pain. There were times where we had to stop, treat the wounds, adjust the prosthesis, and find a way to continue. Congratulations on that one. That is amazing. In Guatemala, conservationists are trying to bring back one of the rarest lizards from the brink of extinction, and they have a new generation of baby lizards to help them do it. The Guatemalan beaded lizard is found naturally in only one place, the Motagua Valley in Guatemala, and there aren't many left. Conservationists think there's around 500 to 700 adults in the wild. Now a breeding program at the La Aurora Zoo in Guatemala City is raising young beaded lizards with the goal of eventually releasing them into their natural habitat. Their local nickname is the Sleeping Child. However, despite the cute name, they are venomous lizards. Luckily, not fatal to humans. Roland leads the conservation project and said, we're just getting them used to feeding, getting them used to being able to climb and all the things they'll need to be able to do when they're released into the wild. The young lizards will first be moved into large enclosures located within their natural habitat. All right, good news. Connecticut, Maryland, and New Jersey have become the first states to pass laws restricting the practice of surveillance pricing. See, here's what the companies are doing. They're collecting data about you, things like browsing history, shopping habits, other personal data. Surveillance pricing occurs when a business uses that information to, change the price. Oh, noticed you were looking for sneakers. Bing, what's up the price there? That's not cool. Two people could potentially shop for the exact same product and be offered different prices based on what a company knows about them. The new law puts limits on that. In New Jersey, the governor said, New Jersey families are already feeling the pressure of higher costs. The last thing they need is companies secretly using their personal data to charge them more than someone else for the exact same product. And in Chicago was the annual Chicago Ducky Derby. A truck dumped an enormous wave of bright yellow rubber ducks from a bridge into the Chicago River, and then there's a race. The ducks form what looked like a giant yellow pool before the current carried them along the skyscraper-lined river. About 15 minutes later, officials plucked out the winning rubber duck. The event raises money for the Special Olympics Illinois. This year, the Derby raised more than $480,000. People can sponsor an individual duck. I've done this in the local pond. It's fun. For $10, which is enough to provide lunch for an athlete at the Special Olympics competition. $30 gets you a quack pack of 6 ducks. Thousands of people turned out for the race, posing with giant inflatable ducks, wearing duck-themed T-shirts, and completing the sentence, I adopt a duck because. The person who sponsored the fastest duck wins an SUV. The runner-up receives $2,500. Not bad. Those are your 5 good news stories for today. If you would like this program without commercial interruption and you're on Apple Podcasts, click the banner that says uninterrupted listening. Short version, $5 a month, 30-day free trial. You also get other shows on the network without the commercials, including Palace Intrigue, where we talk about the royal family every day. That's a fun show. And Daily Comedy News, which I host and talk about comedy and comedians. That's 7 days a week and a nice fun way to start your morning. Have a great day.